Greetings of facilitations, and welcome to the MMAS's production of
The Drowsy Chaperone.
We got a few housekeeping rules before we start.
So you better listen.
Restrooms are located over there. You can take all the photos and videos you want,
But don't you dare use that flash.
or you'll end up like my friend in the Moselle River. Emergency exits are located from the doors from which you came. We are on what you would call the
Instagram and Facebook,
give us a like.
or else.
We got a nice summer lineup, so check the back of your programs, okay? Thank you, and you better enjoy this fine production of
The Drowsy Chaperone.
I hate theater. Well, it's so disappointing, isn't it? Do you know what I do when I'm sitting in a darkened theater, waiting for the show to begin? I pray. Oh, dear God, please let it be a good show. And let it be short. 2 hours is fine. 3 hours is too much. And keep the actors out of the audience. God, I did not pay good money to have the fourth wall come crashing down around my ears. I just want a story, some nice songs, something that will take me away. That's the point, isn't it? Amen.
Hello. How are we this evening? I'm feeling a little blue myself. You know, a little anxious for no reason. A little sad that I should be feeling anxious at this age. A little self-conscious anxiety resulting in a non-specific sadness. A feeling that I call blue. Anyways, when I'm feeling this way, blue, I like to listen to my music. So I was going through my records this morning. Yes, records. And what did I find but Gable and Stein's The Drowsy Chaperone? Remember? Lyrics by Julie Gable, music by Sidney Stein. Let me read you the back. Mayhem, mix-ups, and a gay wedding. Of course the phrase gay wedding has a different meaning now, but back then it just meant fun. And that's exactly what this show is. It's fun. So would you indulge me? Would you let me play it for you? I was hoping you'd say yes. You hear that static? I love that sound. To me, it's the sound of a time machine starting up. Now, close your eyes. Imagine, it's November 1928, and you're going to the Morosco Theater in New York City. It's cold. Remember when it was cold in November? Not anymore. November is the new August now. Global warming, we're all doomed. Anyways, it's cold and there's a heavy gray sleet falling from the sky. But you don't care because you're going to see a Broadway show. Close your eyes. It helps to imagine. Overtures. Overtures are out of style now. I miss them. It's the show's way of welcoming you. Welcome. The main course will be served shortly, but in the meantime, would you like an appetizer? That's what an overture is. A musical appetizer. A poo-poo platter of tunes, if you will. Something new. Sounds like a dance number. It's rollicking, isn't it? Maybe involving pirates. I'm just kidding. There are no pirates in this show. And here it is, the moment when the music starts to build. And you know that you're only moments away from being transported. Curtain is going up. Oh, I can't wait.
underling?
Yes, madam.
How do I look?
You look radiant, Mrs. Toledo.
Oh, I do love this dress so. It never goes out of style.
It's a miracle, madam.
Will the guests be arriving shortly?
Yes, madam.
Why are they coming?
For the wedding.
The wedding, of course. Oh, I love a wedding. I shall put on my fancy dress.
But you're wearing it.
Silly me. Oh, I do love this dress so. It never goes out of style. Will the guests be arriving shortly?
Yes, madam.
I shall put on my fancy dress.
Oh, Mrs. Toledo.
My dress, my fancy dress. I don't know why I'm wearing it, I must confess. My dress, I love my dress. Will someone tell me why I put it on?
Yes, your dress, your fancy dress. 'Twas such a pleasure airing it, restitching and repairing it. God bless your dress, it's one fine dress, and I will tell you why you put it on. Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will swing. Not a year the host to say it's happy wedding time. Wedding bells will ding, wedding bells will dong.
Wedding bells will ding-a-ling and we will ding-a-dong.
Your fancy dress, we're very, very glad you put it on.
Wedding guests have come,
Wedding guests are here, wedding guests are at the door, and soon they will appear.
I'm Robert, the bridegroom. I'm here to marry Janet, the star of Pelzic's Follies, whom I love a lot.
I'm George, that's George, his best man George. I'm honored to be doing what a best man ought. Oh, Mrs. Toledo, now don't worry, I have the whole wedding planned out. The keys organization, see? Each string represents a task yet to be completed. Pay the musicians, yell the floors, book a minister. This whole wedding is gonna run like clockwork.
Oh, is there going to be a wedding?
I felt the need to do so. I lost my leading bleeding. I gotta stop this wedding room and not lose sport. I'm Kitty and just Kitty. I came with Mr. Felty. I'll be a legal lady if I get my shot.
We're pastry chefs. We cross our hearts with pastry chefs. No fakery. A bakery is what we got.
Aldolpho, my name is Aldolpho. I am the king of Rome, and so I kiss a lot.
You are the king of Rome, and so you kiss a lot. Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime, wedding bells will
Celebrate a happy wedding time.
Someone hasn't come, someone isn't here.
Where is Janet Vandergraff, and when will she appear?
It's Janet, it's Janet, it's Janet Vandergraff.
I'm Janet Vandergraff, here to marry Robert Martin, giving up a life of glamour. Tied knot.
I'm the chaperone, chaperone of Janet Vandergraff, maid of honor, friend and confidant, and all that brought.
Where's the bar?
A wedding, hooray!
It's prohibition now.
A wedding, how gay!
I think I brought my own.
A wedding, today!
Champagne makes me drowsy.
It's really happening, truly happening, almost happening. What is happening?
I'm Trix, the aviatrix, queen of the sky. I circle through the stratus in my modern apparatus. I'm Trix, the aviatrix. I gotta fly. I'll see you when they tie the knot.
A wedding, great.
And there we have it. All the guests have arrived. A bride who's on the stage for love. Her Denver bridegroom, a harem producer, 2 jovial gangsters, a flaky chorine, a Latin Lavario, and an aviatrix, what we would now call a lesbian. And of course, my favorite character, the Drowsy Chaperone. What more could you need for an evening's entertainment?
will ring, wedding bells will chime, wedding bells will celebrate a happy wedding time. Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will dawn, wedding bells will ding-a-ling and we will
Oh, wasn't that wonderful? And we will ding along. I don't even know what that means. All right, I'm going to do my best to guide you through this record. Don't worry, it won't be very hard. We begin with a groom's welcome speech.
Well, I just want to thank you all for coming. Why, I must be the luckiest fellow. Who would have thought that I, Robert Martin, would be marrying a glamorous showgirl, and that glamorous showgirl would be willing to give up her successful career for me, Robert Martin. Now, if it wasn't for Prohibition, I'd say let's raise a glass to Miss Janet Vandegraff, the most beautiful girl in the world.
Absolutely not.
Excuse me?
The groom mustn't see his bride before a wedding. It's bad luck.
I hope you heard that. That's the plot, basically. Hang on for the ride.
Breakfast shall be served in the Arabian room.
Say, it's a little early in the day to be drinking, isn't it?
I don't understand the question.
Look. Keep Janet away from Robert. You're a chaperone. It's your only job.
Aye, mon capitaine. Oh, Robert, she's my little monkey.
I am, I'm your little monkey.
As the bride and groom are swept away, we may turn our attention to the B plot, which involves the producer.
Mr. Bouncing!
Giving up and leaving show business?
Mr. Bouncing!
Don't you know I've got obligations?
Mr. Bouncing, I can be a leading lady. You said it yourself. I'm useless in the chorus.
Kitty, we talked about this. You ain't got what it takes.
But I've been taking lessons. Singing, acting, ballet.
Ballet?
Yeah, and I'm pretty good too. Last week I auditioned for Swanee Lake.
Little annotation here. Kitty and Feldzig were a couple in real life, Jack and Sadie Alder. They're a classic example of a comedic duo that we've seen again and again. A stupid woman and her long-suffering companion. Well, she appears stupid, but at the end she does something clever and makes everybody wonder if it was all just an act. The irony here is that Sadie actually was stupid, and Jack had to explain all the jokes to her apparently. Still, she managed to make a successful career for herself on the stage. Back then, theater was the only way a stupid person could earn a living. This was, of course, before television.
We talked about this kid. Not now, Kitty. I don't have the time. A petite poor, Mr. Feldzick. Not now. Perhaps a nice program. Boys, I'm not hungry. How about something else that's two on then?
Yeah, something I do.
What? Allow me to elucidate. Although we stand here before you in the guise of innocent pastry chefs, we are also, and primarily, the employees of a certain individual. A certain individual? A certain individual. Who's also primarily the largest and single most important person in Frederick Foley's. He has sent us here as pastry chefs, concerned about Miss Vandegraff's upcoming nuptials.
Specifically,
That if she goes ahead and quits the show, then there ain't no show. Oh,
don't I know you?
no, you know.
Oh, have you ever spent any time in Toledo?
Have you ever spent any time in a coma?
No, but I got a cousin in Seattle.
Kitty! Boys, this wedding, it's never going to happen. You have my word. Oh, we'll take your word, all right. But to go back on your word would be a recipe for disaster. Have we made ourselves perfectly éclair? One can only hope. You must gotta be kidding me. A trifle much? Don't tot with me. Okay, drop the pastry chef routine. Alas, we ganache. We're on lamb. Lamb's an entree, you macaroons.
The gangsters were played by a vaudeville duo, the Tall sisters, Jane and Patricia Tall. They were born Rachel and Abigail Miloskowitz, but were renamed at Ellis Island by a sarcastic immigrations official. They're a classic example of the early Broadway gangster, full of wordplay and stylized movement, but not all that intimidating. Unless, of course, you find dancers intimidating, which I do, but not for reasons that would be appropriate in this situation.
We'll leave the matters in your hands for now, Mr. Feldzik. But in the meantime, feel free to try a dessert carousel. Try the Toledo Surprise. It's to die for.
Holy cats, Mr. Feldzik! They're gangsters!
How perceptive. Now go pound your nose or something.
I need to stop this wedding, but how? Oh, Lord in heaven, how? How?
I always thought that moment was a little bit overplayed. Now, with the plot sufficiently on its way, let's go to the groom's.
Hey there, handsome. Show me those pearly whites.
The groom was played by the dashing Percy Hyman. He started out as the face of Albright toothpaste. His fabulous smile adorned on every tube. Albright was very popular in the 1920s because it contained cocaine. It's true. It's the fifth ingredient down right after sugar. Anyway, soon after, he became a huge matinee star.
Don't worry, it's perfectly normal to be nervous on your wedding day. It is, of course.
Some people say that Percy Hyman was a bad actor, but to those people I say, shut up.
Hey there, Mr. Mirror Man, shaking and a-quaking, trembling like the fraidy cats do. Something big be bothering you. Cold feet, brother, you got cold feet. Can make them cold feet hot with a little rhythm, young beats. Old feet can be uncontrolled feet. Down the aisle, frosty arches, they can learn to swing. Icy toes can jive. Wedding marches played in ragtime swing makes frigid souls come alive and take that dive. Cold feet, schmold feet, make it into bold feet. Bold feet. Hot.
Well then, why don't you climb back to your bungalow, you backside worms? Now I find another minister. Say, what are you up to?
I'm just singing a song an old friend taught me. A Dixie remedy for the wedding dangers.
You think you got the dinners? You got the easy part. I still have to find a minister, get the rice, find a business. How's the weight of the wedding on my shoulders?
George, sounds like you got cold feet.
What do I got?
Cold feet.
What do I want?
Bold feet.
What do I do? Scold feet?
No! You make cold feet. George. I'm just trying to calm my nerves. It is my wedding day after all.
You could have snapped an ankle. Tap dancing is too dangerous. Come on, you go for a skate instead. That's what I do to blow some steam.
Well, George, what'll I do without you?
Wait a minute! You can't go out like that. What was I thinking? You couldn't see Janet. Put on this blindfold.
George, you think of everything.
Just look out for you, my boy. No more tap dancing.
Just ignore it. It does that sometimes. It brings... Just ignore it. What? What do you want? Well, that's it. The moment is ruined. Thank you. Thank you, life. It's like when a cell phone goes off in a theater. Hello? Oh, hello, what are you doing this evening? Oh, I'm just in the theater ruining the moment. What about you? Oh, I couldn't get out, so I'm ruining the moment by proxy. Ha 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 ha. Sorry. So, let's shake that off and go back in our minds to 1928. They didn't have cell phones in 1928. I'm sure they had something else for the ruining of moments. Bugles or something. Anyway, let's redirect our attention to our bride, Janet, as she entertains questions from reporters as she lounges by the pool.
Janet, please answer.
One more question, Janet.
Please.
Of course. One more question. Yes?
Why on earth would anyone put all of this in a Gibson?
I got a question. How can you get the blood lights when you clearly have V's blood in your vein? Picture, please. Janet, I'm begging you. Drop some mug and say it was the Follies. I'll do anything. I'll put your name above mine in the marquee. Oh, Victor, if you think this is about vanity, you couldn't be more wrong. I don't want to show off no more. I don't want to sing tunes no more. I don't want to write moons no more. I don't want to show off. I don't want to wear this no more. Play the saucy Christmas no more. Love my sister no more. I don't want to show off. Janet, please.
life on the stage?
Can't you see it's killing her soul? Don't worry, this isn't over yet.
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't do an encore.
I don't want a encore no more. Keep on shouting for more, no more. Disappear through the floor, no more. I don't want a show. Well, that didn't work. On to plan B. And for that, I'm gonna need an accomplice. Someone with loose morals and very gullible. I'm gonna need a European.
Papi no se toca mi esposa.
In walks Aldolpho, self-proclaimed ladies' man. Aldolpho was played by former silent film star and world-class alcoholic Roman Bartelli. He was the one who drank himself to death in his chateau in Nice. They didn't find his body until 5 days later, and by that point he had been partially consumed by his poodles. At least he was only partially consumed.
Hi, I don't believe we met.
I am Aldolpho.
You are Aldolpho?
Yes, I am Aldolpho.
Not the Aldolpho.
Yes, I am the Aldolpho.
Funny. You don't seem like a scoundrel.
Yes. What?
Why, I just overheard the groom saying that Aldolpho was a scoundrel. I just heard that.
What? Aldolpho a scoundrel?
Those very words.
Aldolpho is a scoundrel?
Like I'm hearing it again.
This is outrageous. He is saying this to peoples, to beautiful ladies. This cannot stand. I must.
You must take matters into your own hands.
Yes, I must take this groom into my hands and kill him.
Yeah, wait, no. Not kill him. Just hurt him enough so he can't get married.
Yeah, fine. Show me to this groom. Wait. What kind of a man is this groom? A big man?
Well,
A burly fellow?
he's big on the outside.
Oh, no. Aldolpho will not fight big men. Small, pale, weasel, little dwarf people. And Aldolpho can pump far away. But no big men.
Oh, so you're a lover, not a fighter.
Yes, Aldolpho is a lover of beautiful ladies.
Well, you know what they say. The best way to get revenge at a man is through his...
Door.
No. The best way to get back at a man is through his...
Window.
No. Revenge, back at...
Through his... There is no other ways. I am not Santa Claus coming down chimney.
Through his woman.
Ah, through his woman.
Yes, Aldolpho, you must seduce his bride.
And I will. Show me to this bride. Wait,
What?
what kind of woman is this bride? A big woman?
No.
A burly woman?
No, she's a cat's pajamas.
What? Pajamas?
A looker, an attractive woman.
Ah. Show Aldolpho to this cat in pajamas. He will make her purr like a cat in pajamas.
Roman Bartelli chewing the scenery. You could never get away with a performance like that nowadays. Mature audiences are too sophisticated to appreciate broad racial stereotypes. So we banished them to Disney. Let the children sort it out.
Underling? Yes, madam. The pastry chefs have been kind enough to provide liquor for the party, but remember, Underling, we have to be discreet. Yes, madam. It is prohibition after all. I'm aware of that, madam. We'll have to use code words. For example, if someone asks for a glass of ice water, it means they want a glass of vodka. Have you got that? Yes, madam. A glass of ice water is a glass of vodka. What's a glass of ice water? Vodka. Ice water? Vodka. Ice? Vodka. All right then, very well. One less thing to do. Underling? Yes, madam. Might I have a glass of ice water? I found our meeting with the pastry chefs very tiring, and I would really enjoy a nice, refreshing glass of ice water.
Your ice water, madam.
That was pure vodka, you poop!
I hate this scene.
Now I really do need a glass of ice water.
A glass of ice water, madam.
Yes, ice water. Are you going deaf?
Would that I were.
You can see where the scene is going. It's really just a series of spit takes.
Your ice water, madam.
That was pure vodka, you poop!
You know, in some ways, the Drowsy Chaperone was quite progressive. 2 women playing gangsters, for instance.
Your ice water, madam.
That was pure vodka, you poop!
Other scenes were stale in 1928. You know what? I'm just gonna skip ahead.
Where do you think you're going?
I'm going to get myself some lime juice.
Lime juice, for heaven's sakes, why?
I'm going to make myself a gimlet.
You might be wondering, what on earth was that doing in the show? Well, it's very simple. A song was coming up, and they needed time to allow for a set change.
In a few hours, I'm going to be Mrs. Robert Martin. Oh, my head is spinning.
Yes, life's a mad whirlwind.
This is a very interesting scene. This is the only scene in the play where Jane Roberts and Beatrice Stockwell are alone together on stage. Jane Roberts was an emerging star, but Beatrice Stockwell was already well established and a force to contend with.
I'm so full of apprehensions, but I suppose that's normal considering the circumstances. Have you ever been married, Chaperone?
No. I drink out of necessity. I drink out of pleasure, not necessity.
Your ice water, madam.
Thank you.
I'm kidding. Have you ever been married? Heavens no. If I'm going to serve a woman, I prefer to be paid for my efforts. Oh, you too. I know it seems crazy to have a successful career to marry a man I hardly know, but somehow, for some reason, when I look into his eyes, his big, monkey eyes, oh, gee, I just get all woozy, and that's love, isn't it?
Not necessarily. The wooziness could be caused by a number of things. For example, I'm woozy right now, and I'm certainly not in love.
Beatrice Stockwell was famous for her rousing anthems. She entertained and inspired the troops up to and until the Falklands War. Of course, by this time, she was in her 80s, and her anthems didn't so much rouse as stupefy. But still, she demanded an anthem in every show she ever did, even if it wasn't appropriate. You just couldn't say no to her. That's star power.
Seriously, you were not being the least bit helpful. Couldn't you at least allay my fears with a few choice words of inspiration?
Inspiration, that's not my thing.
Yes, but if you...
As we stumble along on life's funny journey, as we stumble along into the blue, we look here and we look there, seeking answers anywhere, never sure of where to turn or what to do. Still we stumble along through life's crazy labyrinth, where we knowing left from right nor right from wrong, and the best that we can do is hope a bluebird will sing its song as we stumble along.
Really, Chaperone, that was quite nice. However, I don't see how it pertains to my situation.
Just let me explain.
Really, that's not necessary. I suppose I was just looking for a sympathetic...
It's a dismal little world in which we live. It can bore you till you've nothing left to give. 7 overrated wonders, 7 underwater seas, 6 excruciating continents, Antarctica. Oh, please.
Antarctica, oh please.
Still, you mustn't let it lick you, this planet, oh so bland. Keep your eyeball on the highball in your hand. As we stumble along through life's crowded dance floor,
She does what she wants without any regard for the needs or concerns of others. My mother was like that.
It's quite inspiring, Chaperone, but I'm still so confused. Please just tell me, is Robert the man for me?
My dear, that is something you'll have to decide for yourself.
But I just don't know if he loves me.
Then why don't you go up and ask him? Why don't you look him in the eye and ask, Roger, do you love me?
It's Robert, and I'm not supposed to see him. In fact, it's your job to keep me away from him.
Yes, and I take that job very seriously. However, at this moment I am feeling terribly, terribly drowsy, and I'm going to have myself a little lie down. But no matter what you do, don't go through the garden seeking out your fiancé to ask him a question on which your future happiness depends.
Oh, thank you, Chaperone. I just have to know if he loves me.
Such a fool. Still, I envy her. When will love come crashing through my doors?
Donde está mi amor?
Oh, it's Aldolpho, come to seduce the bride.
I am Aldolpho.
Try not to think of the poodles when you're watching this part.
I am Aldolpho, and you are bride.
No, I am not.
What? This is bridal suite. And you are only one here. You must be bride.
Interesting argument, but I'm afraid you are a moron.
Not true.
Me? No bride. Perhaps I could take a message.
Ah, fine. To groom bride Vandegraff, I'm Florence, his heart. I must make love to you and take you to a place of ecstasy. Sooner is better. Signed, Aldolpho, King of Romance.
Well, you found me out. You saw right through my little bruise.
Aha, so you are bride.
Apparently, yes. Take me, Aldolpho.
No, not Aldolpho face. Aldolpho. I must make sure that you know this name, so that we were making love and you are screaming. When you scream the name, you won't spoil the moment. Can I make sure that you remember? I think I've got it. I'm sure that you have heard the name Aldolpho, a ladies' man who wins acclaim, Aldolpho. Well, lovely miss, I am the same Aldolpho. I introduce myself. I am Aldolpho.
Nice to meet you. Now, shall we?
Not so fast. Now, just in case you didn't hear Aldolpho, I'll try to make it very clear, Aldolpho. The lovely ladies always cheer Aldolpho when I repeat myself. I am Aldolpho.
Understood.
I can sing it high, Aldolpho. I can sing it low, Aldolpho. I can sing it very fast. I can sing it very slowly. I will do it now, but it would take hours. Now, let us see if you can remember my name.
I'll give it a shot.
Now, who's the fellow that you see?
Aldolpho.
And how should you refer to me?
Aldolpho.
And how is it I'll always be? Now sing it proudly.
You are Aldolpho.
And now let me spell it out for Joe. For all you lovely ladies who didn't hear me because maybe you are hard of hearing or something. I don't know.
my mother's favorite number in the show. I think it was always her secret fantasy to be swept off her feet by a Latin lover. A real Latin lover, not a buffoon. That's what musicals are about, right? Romantic fantasy, falling in love at the drop of a hat, spontaneous tangoing, suddenly finding yourself in an extremely romantic setting.
I'm an accident waiting to happen.
Robert, look out!
Don't worry about him. It's my wedding day, so I have to wear this blindfold.
Blindfold.
Say, who am I speaking to anyhow?
Why, it's me. I mean, Mimi. From France.
The scene could not be any more ridiculous.
Oh, you are marrying Charlotte Van de Graaf, no?
Oui.
I hear she is very beautiful.
Oui.
Glamorous.
Ah, oui.
Is it true she has an exceptionally broad range and excels in both comedic and dramatic roles?
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble placing your accent. What part of France are you from?
Oh, the middle part, where they make the toast. So, you were telling me about your, how do you say it in English, fiancé.
That's right.
So, tell me, when was the moment when you knew she was the only one for you?
Well, it's a funny story, actually. We were standing on the Isle de France,
Yes.
and I was amusing her with stories of my father's oil interests.
And then what happened?
And then I looked into her eyes, her big, glamorous eyes, and I felt all woozy.
And then you fell. And then you fell?
Yep, right on my keister. And then I said, well, I guess I don't have my sea legs yet.
But we haven't left the docks yet.
That's what she said. So then I knew it must be love.
And you said?
Well, and then I said, there once was a time I could stop on a dime. Forbearance was one of my talents. But since you've been around, I can't hold my ground. I'm consistently losing my balance. I'm an accident waiting to happen. I'm a mishap about to ensue. I'm the toy on the stair, the three-legged chair, the hem that's been caught by a shoe. When my two lovesick arms started flapping, there was nothing my ankles could do. I'm an accident waiting to happen, so how may I happen to you?
And then what happened?
Well, she joined in.
When men say I'm sweet and they fall at my feet, my heart doesn't beat any faster. But when you lose control, it touches my soul. So I'm bracing myself for disaster. You're an accident waiting to happen, a catastrophe destined to be.
I'm the rug in the cellar,
A broken umbrella, a branch hanging loose from a tree. I can see myself jumping and clapping for a man who lives dangerously.
I'm an accident waiting to happen.
So hurry and happen to me.
I'm an accident waiting to happen. So hurry and happen to
You kissed a strange French girl on your wedding day.
Wait, what have I done? Wait! Oh, I sure did.
Oh no, it seems the blindfold and the fake French accent have led to a misunderstanding. What a mess. Will it all work out in the end? Of course it will. It's not real life. It's a musical. Everything always works out in the musical. It's not like the real world where nothing works out. The only people bursting into song are hopelessly deranged.
Mr. Felsick! Where is that philandering foreigner? Mr. Felsick! How long does it take to seduce one bride?
Mr. Felsick, you don't need Janet no more.
Kitty, not now.
But I've been working on the mind reading act. Presenting Kitty the Incomprehensible. Pick a number between 5 and 7.
6.
No!
Kitty, the problem with your act is that you have to have a mind to read one. Mr. Felsick. It seems as though the bride's still gonna do her thing. Now it's time for your just desserts. What do you say, partner? Should we look up something special for Mr. Felsick?
How about a Toledo Surprise?
An inspired choice.
A Toledo Surprise? I've never heard of it.
Of course you haven't. Those people who have generally heard of it are sometimes, most likely, never heard from again.
We'll share the recipe with you.
First, you beat it up, chop the nuts.
Then you pound the dough.
Then you heat it up, nice and slow. And then you got your Toledo Surprise.
Wait, could you run that by me one more time?
It's an easy recipe, but we'll give it a shot. First, you chop the nuts.
Then you pound the dough.
Then you beat it up, nice and slow. And then you got your Toledo Surprise. Now, let's give you a taste.
Hold it. What style? What grace? What rhythm? Open your fist. Now shake 'em. Now give me that recipe one more time. Da 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 go.
Chop the nuts, pound the dough, beat it up, nice and slow. Then you got your Toledo Surprise.
Now sell it.
Hit the peach, peel the skin, push it up, throw it in. That's a tasty Toledo Surprise.
Now you cook it.
Then you beat it up, then you sweet it up. When you heat it up, it starts to rise. Don't let it, it's a snack. Try it close. What are your whites? Spread your lips. That's a tasty Toledo Surprise.
Keep it up. A 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, Mr. Felsick, what's going on here?
Kitty, I'm developing a new act.
Toledo Surprise.
You mean you put gangsters in the show and you won't put me in it? They're not even in the show yet.
Now we run online. You see this new act? It's for you. It's these boys or your backup dancers.
Backup dances? Holy cow! What that hot Toledo does to my libido gun? Yes, indeed, a sugary yum yum. Surprise! Sweet cream, grease the pan, lick the spoon, lick the blend. Then you got your Toledo Surprise!
Wait, Aldolpho, he make announcement. Wedding is off.
What? Why?
Aldolpho has made love to the bride.
Idiot, that's not the bride, that's the chaperone.
What?
The wedding's on.
The wedding is off.
What?
Robert kissed a French girl. Her name is Mimi, and she is very beautiful.
I couldn't help it, Janet. She was just like you, only French.
Sweet Mother Pearl.
Underling? Yes, madam. What is all this commotion about?
The wedding, madam.
Oh, is there going to be a wedding?
Not anymore. What a tragedy. What a wonderful, wonderful tragedy. Clear the floor, boys. I'll show you how it's done. First you beat it up. Then you sweet it up. When you heat it up, if it tries to rise, don't let it. Toledo Surprise.
Surprise!
Wait until it's ready.
Surprise!
Wait until it's ready.
Surprise!
Wait until it's ready.
Now put it ready.
Surprise! Makes me twitch, makes me shake. This dessert takes the cake. Hits me like a torpedo. Toledo Surprise!
the tune is so infectious.
Father, this is the saddest day of my life.
Well, that's it. Intermission. Well, at least it would be if we were actually sitting in the Morosco Theater watching the Drowsy Chaperone. But of course, we are not. I don't like intermission. They ruin the magic. One moment, you're in a world of glamour and music and romance, and the next, you're surrounded by tourists, crinkling candy wrappers, nattering about the lack of women's restrooms. It's cruel. Oh, it's a power bar. I have a bit of a blood sugar issue. I have to eat small meals throughout the day or I get all jittery. It's rude, I know, but you wouldn't want the alternative. Believe you me. Believe you me. I was remembering my wedding day. I didn't eat breakfast and the ceremony wasn't until 4 in the afternoon. I do. What? Are you surprised that I was married? Well, just goes to show, you shouldn't go around making assumptions about people, should you? I'm a very complicated person. Anyways, Act 2 of The Drowsy Chaperone begins like this. A haunting lament from a very depressed bride as she stands on her balcony, bathed in the pale blue light of a sympathetic moon. Which is ridiculous considering it's the middle of the day. Now, when you're listening to the song, try to ignore the lyrics. It will be difficult, I know, but they're not the best. But the tune is beautiful. It truly conveys the bride's state of mind. Just ignore the lyrics.
I put a monkey on a pedestal and try to make that monkey stay. And he did for a time, but he needed to climb with the other monkeys play far away. He left his jacket on the pedestal beside his tiny Boston cup. And I haven't got the strength to pick them up. Oh, monkey, 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 you broke my heart in two. But I'll always save that pedestal for you. Come, my little monkey, come, my little monkey,
I just love that tune. It just floats through the air. And I must admit, I always get a little bit misty when I think of that jacket on the pedestal, its sleeves flowing in the wind.
But I'll always save that pedestal for you.
Here we go.
Come, my little monkey, come, my little monkey.
Here we go.
Wait,
Who are you?
I'm Choreographed.
Do you need anyone?
I don't need anyone.
What about the love of one man?
Who cares about the love of one man when I am adored by millions? Do I need to be so gloomy
Oh, I used to love that song. It's got a little bit for everyone. A little Bubsy Berkeley, a little Jane Goodall. That's another thing I love about musical theater. When characters are priceless, they sing and dance about it, which is so much more interesting than just whining about it. Another thing I love about musical theater. That's what I'm talking about. You manage to be happy for 5 seconds. And then something starts ringing.
What a beautiful day for a wedding.
Shall I have the pews removed now or wait until morning?
Now, here's an example of a vaudeville duo who slips through the cracks of time. We have Noel Fitzpatrick and Ukulele Lil. I don't know anything about them. I suppose that Ukulele Lil plays the ukulele, though she doesn't in this show. You know, I tried to do research about them. I looked through all my books, and I even tried the internet. But all my searches just ended with Tiny Tim's autopsy photos. Anyways, they're both charming.
Why would you have the pews removed?
The bride has called off the wedding.
Oh, underling, never listen to a bride on her wedding day. Why, on my wedding day, I was completely incoherent. Remember?
It was yesterday.
Love is such a complex emotion, anyway. Yes, madam. 1 minute, you can really care about someone, and the next, you just want to strangle them. You understand?
I'm quite familiar with the concept, madam.
You see, that's just the nature of love. Love makes lovers worry, love makes lovers fret. But here's a fact on which we can depend. Just like long ago when Romeo was Juliet, love is always lovely in the end.
Romeo and Juliet was a tragedy, madam.
Oh, I never read reviews. Love makes lovers quarrel. Twas a happy fate for Hank the Ape and Anne Boleyn. Love is always lovely in the end.
My time reminds you that Anne Boleyn lost her head.
Yes, she was in love. Love was good to Eve and Adam.
Here we go again.
And Samson and Delilah too.
May I pose a question, madam?
Why, of course.
Why does nothing I say to you ever get through?
Don't mind if I do. Love is always lovely in the end.
I found that quite taxing, so I kept myself a glass of ice water.
Love sneaks up behind you. Love drops from above. But love was never consciously offended. Love has certainly been kind to me, and my true love. Love is always lovely in the end.
But your late husband was a brute.
I don't mean him, you silly coot.
Oh, madam.
Love is always lovely.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Love is always lovely in the end. Love is always lovely in the end.
Yes, it wasn't that charming. But I'm going to be frank. On some levels, that number pisses me off. I'm going to say something here, and yes, I have been drinking, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that love is not always lovely in the end. Often, in the end, there are lawyers. Also, was no one going to point out the awkward sexual connotation of that title? Is it just me? Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that this number is naive, and irresponsibly so. I'm sorry, I just thought I'd say that for all the young people. Now, I'm not going to interrupt anymore, but there is one moment coming up that I've become obsessed with.
Oh, there you are, chaperoning in a terrible state.
You certainly are. You can't go to a wedding looking like that.
You poor dear, haven't you heard? The wedding's been called off.
Not your wedding. Mine. Oh, that reminds me. Might I borrow your veil?
You're getting married? To whom?
Mi casa está encendida. Ah, a beautiful lady with a powerful expression.
You're marrying Aldolpho?
I know it seems crazy. When I look into his eyes, his big, clumsy eyes, I get all drowsy. And that's love, isn't it?
Yes, dear, that is love.
Help me!
There you are. Okay, I have to put my cards on the table. I've got a weak heart. I can't take the pressure. If this goes on any longer, this old trigger is going to give out. Please tell me, is there going to be a wedding or not?
Yes.
Thank the Lord in heaven.
Aldolpho and the chaperone are getting married.
What?
There you are. Wonderful news. There's going to be a wedding.
We know.
Mrs. Tottendale and I are going to be married in the garden at 7:30 today.
What?
What?
Oh, yes. Congratulations to everyone.
Say, what kind of complimentary wedding is this? Everybody's getting married but the bride and the groom.
There you are. Oh, Janet, I've been looking everywhere for you.
Hello, Mr. Martin.
Please don't be that way. Can't you find it in your heart to marry me? It's our wedding day, Janet. George just went to all this trouble, and I do love you. More than I can say.
But you kissed another woman.
I know, and I just don't understand it, but this may sound ridiculous, but when I was kissing that French girl, it was like I was kissing you.
Oh, Robert, you were kissing me.
You mean you're Mimi? Well, that French accent was remarkably accurate.
Why, thank you. I developed it while playing my role of Monique in Hold That Baguette. There you are. Think about it. Well, you played the role of happy wife. You will never, ever get another standing ovation. We just don't know. Oh, chaperone, please, just this once, please give me some advice that is both coherent and appropriate for the situation. Should I marry Robert?
Now, here it comes. The moment I've become fascinated with. The one that has brought me back to this record again and again. Here it comes.
Well, my advice to you is,
And here it is. Listen.
while you can.
Did you hear that? You can't hear exactly what she says because someone drops a cane. I'll play it for you again.
While you can.
Is she saying live while you can or leave while you can?
While you can.
I mean, it's Beatrice Stockwell, so it could just be a cynical quip, but it's a wedding. That's exactly what you think when you're standing at the altar, isn't it? Live or leave. Because you do love him in some way, but it isn't an exact science. An arrow doesn't just come out of the sky and point to the one you're supposed to be with. So, one day you say it to someone. You say, I love you. And you basically phrase it as a question. But he accepts it as a fact, and all of a sudden, you're standing in front of him in a $3,000 dress with tears in your eyes. His nephew made the huppa, so what do? Did you say, I was kidding, I was joking? No. You live, right? You choose to live. And for months, you stare at the alien form lying in bed next to you, and you think, who are you? Who are you? Until all of a sudden you say it out loud, and then it's trial separation and couples counseling, and all of your discussions are about his eating disorder and your Zoloft addiction. You're constantly rediscussing and reevaluating, and then you lose the deposit on your house, and your entire relationship boils down to one animated email on your birthday. But still, in a larger sense, in a broader sense, it's better to have lived than left, right?
While you can.
You have no idea how many times I've listened to that.
Chaperone, you certainly have a way with words. Robert, my answer is yes, I will marry you.
Wonderful! Wonderful!
Well, Mr. Feldsick, look at this wedding as a done deal.
Now you're in trouble.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
But there is.
I have found a replacement, a new leading lady, now presenting Kitty, the incomprehensible. Okay, now Kitty, focus. And show these boys you can read my mind.
Kitty, will you marry married in one big lump. That's how they do it in Utah.
Well, George, I don't know how you managed to pull it off. 4 weddings in one day? I guess you're everybody's best man now.
I am?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray!
Minister, you may begin. Oh no! I'm here with the minister. What?
Oh, is it a bird? Hey, follow the person. Are you okay?
Who are you?
I'm Trix, the aviatrix, queen of the sky. To Rio I was wending when my engine needed mending. I'll fix my navigatrix, and then I'll fly and let you lovebirds tie the knot. Sorry to crash the party, folks, but I'll have this fixed in a jiffy, and then it's off to Rio for the carnival.
Wait, a captain of a ship can perform marriage.
Yes. And a pilot is comparable to a captain, right?
Yes. And the plane is a kind of a chip. A chip of the air. An air chip.
Oh, shit! Yeah!
Yes.
Wait, I got it. Trick. You can marry them on your plane, and we'll all go for a honeymoon in Rio.
A bride and groom in a chapel may bring a tear to the eye, but what a thrill when lovebirds trill. I do in the sky. When vows are said in a meadow, the leaves and daffodils sigh, but heartbeats rush when sweethearts gush. I do in the sky. Do you? We do. Do you? We do. Do you? We do. Do you? We do. A bride and groom in a chapel may bring a tear to the eye, with rainbows bending before us and clouds meandering by. We can't restrain that sweet refrain. I do in the sky. When vows are said in a meadow, the trees and daffodils sigh. But what a thrill when lovebirds trill. I do in the sky. I do in the sky.
Oh no, everybody, stay calm. Stay calm. Just keep the show alive in your minds. I'll go find the food box. Everybody, be quiet. Well, the moment is ruined. One note away from the show. The end of the show. I suppose I could just start the record over from the beginning. No, I can't do that. Can I? No. It's just so frustrating. You don't understand. I love the show so much, and I've never even seen it. My mother gave the record to me. This was just before my father left us. Well, he didn't leave because of the record, although I'm sure it didn't help matters. Look, I know it's not a perfect show. The spit take scene is lame, and the monkey motif is labored, but it does what a show is supposed to do. It takes you to another world. It gives you a little tune to carry in your head, a little something to help you escape from the dreary horrors of the everyday world. A little something for when you're feeling blue, you know? As we stumble along on life's funny journey, as we stumble along into the world, we look here and we look there, seeking answers anywhere, never sure of where to turn.
much for being here. This was basically a whole show in a week. We haven't done anything quite like this before. I think it's one of our best and one that I'm gonna put close to my heart. So what we're gonna do now is a little tradition that we do at MMAS. We get pictures. So Marissa, you're gonna join me because you spoke the MMAS too. Yeah, I'll take a chair. Let's make it easy. Oh, I take the one chair. So I know Ellie has to leave real quickly, so she'll be our first one up.
Hey, Ellie.
Yeah.
I got you, Ellie. Okay.
All right, thank you. Have a good Passover. All right, and then we'll go down the line. Who are you?
Yes, Kara. I'm Kira. I'm 11 years old.
Wow.
12 now.
You didn't get the picture yet.
30 seconds. Hi, Mom. Hi, Kira. Love you. Love you too.
Hi, I'm Callie. I'm 14, last time I checked.
Solid.
Love you. Hey, Callie. Thanks so much.
Next.
Hi, I'm Dorothy. I'm 14.
We love you, Dory. Rachel, 16.
Say
Oh!
No worries.
I'm Hope. I'm 14.
You're right.
One for mom right there. All right.
I'm Amelia. I'm 14.
Solid, my dude.
Hello, who are you? What do you do here?
I am Connor Bankos, and I am 16.
Wow. Funny story about Connor. You didn't have any tap experience.
No.
Or roller skating experience. I do miracles. Who's next?
Oh, that's me. Hi, I'm Andrew, and I'm 16.
No, I like it if you're on a different level.
Okay.
That works.
You like levels here.
That's what we-
You'll notice.
I always go. Hello.